Hi guys, hope you're all well. Oh, not plugged my microphone in. There we go. Right, today we are going to make a few bits using the block I made the other day. Sorry, it was such a long video, but I didn't want to cut anything out, and I left the wire wrapping in just to give you an idea of you know, it can be quite simple to wire wrap some stuff. It doesn't have to be really fancy stuff. Anyway, let's crack on. I've been warming this up gently, just playing with it, and I put it on, put it near the radiator a little bit just to get it warmed through, so it should be okay now. I've got out a couple of moulds, and I've also got out a couple of cutters because I know a lot of you don't really use moulds, so I think I'll just do 4 pendants using a couple of moulds and using a couple of cutters, and then we will finish a couple of them off together, and I will finish the others off and put some photos on and stuff, guys. Then I'm not you know, that it's not such a huge video, because as you know, as much as I think some things warrant a longer video, I appreciate that some of you haven't got time to sit down maybe for a good hour and watch something through. So I thought in my next videos that I would just do some kind of back to basics and do some more simple styles of things, and maybe go back and revisit some of the first things that I've made, and you know, see if we can improve on them or anything. But anyway, that's me babbling again. Right, so we're going to cut this into some nice slices for our pendants. First I'll do the moulds, and then we'll go on and do the other pieces. So I'm just going to cut off a reasonable slice. For this, I think I'll do this one because I fancy wire wrapping this one, and it let me just get a wet wipe, and it's quite a nice substantial pendant to wire wrap. I'm just wiping my mould out, guys, because I obviously put something in it that had a bit of mica in it, or maybe it was a metal clay, and even though I've given them a wash, it's still stuck a little bit to it. So I'll just give that a wipe while I'm chatting. Yeah, I've had some lovely feedback, guys, from the last video, so thank you. I really enjoyed I enjoy experimenting a little bit with colours, and especially making these stones, because you know, they become quite funky, don't they? Now this will distort as I'm putting it in here, so I'm not going to mess with it too much, except I think I will just smooth that corner down at the top, then I'm not losing too much of it when I cut it off. Although it does, you know, if you're careful with your scraps, you can make some really pretty pieces. That was just a couple of scraps that I managed to lay up well together. So yeah, let's get this moving. So I'm going to pop this in that top corner. I just need to shorten it a little bit. So I'm just kind of getting the basic shape going before I put it in the mould, and then I don't get it too distorted. Oh, and I'm throwing it around. Right, this should now pop in quite nicely. I'm just going to press it. Now, I did notice the other day that I think it's the clay with the beeswax in it. It didn't like sitting in this Sculpey mould, and I think it's because it's I wouldn't say it's a porous surface, but it's not a quite a smooth surface. So I'm going to try it again with these two. I'll maybe bake this one in there, but I won't bake it in this one. I'll pop it out because I don't want to get that funny surface on it, which took a bit of buffing to get out. It's not too bad, you know, stone isn't massively smooth, is it, if you know what I mean? But it can affect the surface. I took out this older blade which is super sharp, so I need to be careful. Put them scraps to one side. And there's a little bit folded over there which I'm not keen on, so I'll see if I can just scrape a bit of that away. That's better. I think that's okay now. I just pull it away from the edges. Fortunately, with my poor cutting skills, I've chipped into the side of these moulds. Oh, we've got a Doris. Can you go and sit down, please? Yes, nobody wants to see you. Go and lie down. Oh, she drove me mad yesterday, just readjusting my camera because she clocked it as she went past. It's been really, really rainy here and very windy, and the cats just don't like it. It makes them a bit on edge and a bit agitated. I think it's with the noise and things, you know, with the wind whistling and what have you. So they've all been a bit on edge past couple of days. Bless them. Right, there we go. I seem to have a funny divot in the back of this one. Ah, that's why. Bit of clay stuck to my roller. There. Right, I'll just grab a bit of scrap and I'll pop this one out. There we go. And can you see what I mean? With just distorting it by hand, it's give it a nice wave. I didn't have to add a wave, and that looks lovely. So that's one done, and now I'll do my triangle one. Now I know from previous experience with this mould that it can be a bit awkward to fill, but that should be okay, the size of this. I'll just bring it in a little bit and let's give it a decent chop. Make sure that's clean, because I did wash them all the other day, but sometimes I get a rogue bit of cat fluff or something. Now, how do I want this? Yeah, I think I'll do that. So I'm just gonna shape it a little bit by hand to get it into the rough shape that I want, and then I'll let the mould do the rest. just looking at the side, which side I want to pop in. Oh, bit of muck there. I think I'll pop it in that edge first, and then I'll squish the rest of this in. Just making sure that I've got up to this point, guys, because it's not quite in it. So I'm just warming the clay and pushing it up. There we go. And this should be quite an interesting pattern as well. And again, carefully slice the top off. Let me see. I think that's okay. I'm just going to get a piece of paper and just give this a little burnish, just to make sure that I've not got any icky fingerprints on the back. There we go. There's a little bit of a lip there where I've previously cut into it. Now I'm going to bake this one in the mould, because sometimes trying to get it out of the mould is a bit hard without distorting it. So I'm going to bake that one in the mould. A few scraps there out the way. And then for these two, they're quite long pieces. So I'm just going to... no, Doris, get down. Get down. Oh, she's a pest, this cat. I'm just going to make my block a little bit longer. Doris. Oh, now she's sat on my keyboard. Get off. Oh. Told you, she's been driving me mad past few days. Been really naughty. She knows she's been naughty because she's got her ears really flat now, and she's gone and sat on a cloth. Little madam. Yes, you. She knows I'm talking about her. She's a good girl, really. She just she likes being in the thick of it, shall we say. I've just got a bit of a mark on top of there. Let's give it a wipe. There we go. There, so it's not quite long enough, but by the time I've rolled it out a little bit, it will fit my cutter. So let's do this a good... I'll cut two while I'm here. Oh, and I seem to have a big air bubble in the middle. That'll sort itself out, I'm sure. There we go. And I'm going to save this bit to make a pendant for my friend. So look at that bubble. How did that get in there? Right, so let's get some lolly sticks. And I think 2 will be plenty thick enough. I'm probably going to wire wrap these so it adds a little bit of substance, you know, rather than it just dangling on a pendant. Let's see if I can get rid of that air bubble first. I'll just get it stretched that way first. And this one should fit fine if I keep going. Oh, got a little crack there. There we go. I'll just give that little cracker push back together. And I'm going to get some cling film. I think I'll do it on a slight wonk, and then I get a bit of the dark green. Or maybe with this one I'm going to miss some of this edge, I think, so I think I'll just move it over, or maybe do it that way. There we go. Just want to make sure that I catch a bit of that white in as well without missing too much of the green. Not sure. That cling film doesn't half. I'm just going to bring this in a bit, guys, just because I'm missing some of the portions of the colours, and I'd like to catch at least some of the colour in. Just let me pick it up. Oh, no, I've broken it. There, that might be better now. I just want to try and make sure I'm catching a bit of every layer in, if that makes sense. That's better. Now I can catch some of that green and some of the crackle. I'll do it on a little bit of a wonk, then I get crackle at the top and green at the bottom. Oh, and that's hard to press. My blade. Oh, I can't pick that up now. I'm just going to clean these edges up. Plastic cutters, great shapes, terrible clean edges. There, that should have got rid of most of it. I seem to have a little crack at that end. Let's give it a smooch. There we go. Let's get my other blade. These crumbs off. I think some of these edges need to be addressed. Then I maybe have to sort them out when it's been baked, guys, because I don't want to mess it up too much. I'll get it on this paper and give it a little burnish. Make sure it's straight. There we go. Still see a bit of a fingerprint there. Maybe I have to catch that and when I'm sanding it. That is quite a fine pendant. There we go. And now for this oval one, I think I'll distort it a little bit so that I'm getting the points. Rolling this bit in the middle to get that little bubble to disappear, and I'll just gently pick this up and give it a little twist to make sure that there we go. And again with the cling wrap, just find a clean bit. And I'm not going to get a lot of green into this. I'm just trying to adjust it to catch a nice bit of it there. That should work. There we go. Oh, I'll just give it a press with my block to make sure it's gone through. I'll just give it a little wiggle. I'll just get my blade on that edge there and smooth it a little bit because of that little divot in the cutter. And again, grubby fingerprints on it. Just give it a wipe. You can see a bit of cat fluff or something. There we go. Just going to pop my cutter back over, guys, because I think it might have just slightly distorted while I was playing with it. Yeah, it did a little bit. Just make some room on my paper. Oh, come on. Again, I'm probably going to clean this up better once it comes out the oven, just because I don't want to distort the shape. I'll get what I can off. So check the back for crumbs. There we go. Okay, so we've got 3 nice pendants there, and I've got 1 in my block, good to go. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get anything out of these scraps. Maybe I'll make a little lentil bead with them, or some sort of bead. Let's have a look. I'll just get these scraps for a colour. And I think that'll be a nice bit for 1/2. I'll just get that condensed into something like a disc. Oh, and then maybe I can take a bit of this green and condense it up to let's put these 2 bits together. I'll try and do a little swirl. All I seem to be doing is picking up bits from my desk. Let's give that a wipe. We'll try that again. Oh, I'm skidding. I don't normally use this for making lentil beads. I normally use a bigger one, but with it being such a tiny bead, I thought I'd give it a go. And I'm not managing at all, am I? Let's get my bigger one. Bring out the big guns. Let's see how this works. That's better. It's such a small bead that it's a little bit tricky to spin it. There we go. Oh, now it's gone too flat. I don't know why I bother. Oh dear. Let's get a bit of height back. I should have just started with this, shouldn't I? Come on, play a nice bead. And now I've got a cat there in it. Oh my goodness. I can honestly do these, guys. I just don't know why it's playing silly at the minute. Maybe it's just because it's so small. I don't normally do them this small. It just doesn't want to swirl, does it? Oh, we've got some swirling action, finally. That'll do. And I'm just going to flatten it a little bit. And I'm going to make it back into a round bead. There we go. Got a little swirly bead, which was a lot more trouble than it was worth. Let's just use these scraps up too. I'll just put these greens together and put the coloured bits together. And put the white bits together. Just getting these flattened out a bit, guys, without it cracking, because it's gone quite cool. Get these green bits together. Yeah, I'm making a right mountain out of a molehill, aren't I? Right, get them flat. Let's pop you there, pop you there. Just make sure there's no air trapped inside. I don't know where I'm picking this black dust up from. Right, we'll have another try with this lentil spinning business. Come on. It's getting there, guys. I think the point I picked to swirl it was a little bit too much colour, so you can't see it working. It's a good workout though, isn't it, doing this for your arms and shoulders. You know, if you're a bit stiff after sitting at your desk, just make a couple of lentil beads. Soon sorts your biceps out. Oh, I lost my spin. And you know what, guys? That'll do, because I've had enough. I'm just going to squash it evenly. There we go. A nice little lentil bead with the scraps. So I shall go and pop these in the oven. And then when we come back, I shall decide what we're going to make with them. See you in a min. Hi guys, I'm back. Sorry, I was just eating a sandwich and I had still had a mouthful and forgot. Right, so here's the triangle. It's really pretty. Here's the one that was in the mould. I've got a little divot there. I've just tried to sand it out a bit. It should disappear when I polish it. And here's the ones that I just cut with the cutters. And here's my little twirly bead. And of course here's the other twirly bead. That's quite cool. So I'm just going to go and give these a sand and a polish. To be fair, the surfaces are very good. So it'll only be minimal, I think. Just a quick smooth, and I'll get my Dremel on them to sand them off a bit. And then I thought we would I'm thinking I'll just wire wrap one thing for you. Just do a quick wire wrap for you. I might just do this little triangle because then it will be super quick. And then what I'll do is I'll finish all these and I'll put a picture of each for you, so you can see how I finished them. I'm actually thinking about doing a series of videos because I've got a few cabochons that need they're all finished and buffed, but there's nothing been done with them. So I just thought maybe I could do some a couple of videos about finishing things off properly. You know, so we've got the cab and then we're just adding findings or a bit of wire wrapping or setting it in something, you know, I don't know, I'll have a think. But let me know if you'd be interested in something like that, because I know from conversations with people in my group that you know, we're all great at making, but then you end up with a pile of cabochons and you don't finish them. So maybe I could just give you all a couple of ideas into finishing things differently. You know, maybe do a bit of wire wrapping, some simple stuff that doesn't take a lot of time. Maybe, let me know. Right, I'll go and give these a polish and a buff, and I'll be back shortly. Hi guys, right, I'm back. These have had a nice buff and a nice polish. They're the ones I did the other day. There's my little bead. Here's my little triangle. Both sides are quite nice. The other pieces, I wasn't happy with how flat they were. I know that sounds daft. So I've just put a bit of thingy on them. Resin. Oh, my brain's not working. I've just put that one in. I think they're done actually, but I'll just give them another minute and I'll pull them out and show you. But yeah, they were just, I think, unless it's like a really chunky statement piece, I think I prefer the stone-like ones to have just a touch of a dome on them. It just adds to the effect, doesn't it? So I wasn't happy with how flat they were. So I've just put a little bit of resin on just to help give them a little bit of a dome. And to be totally honest, the long thin one had a bit of a divot in it in the middle, and no matter if by the time I'd have sanded that out, it would have there would have been nothing left. So that's helped anyway. Right, so I think what we will do is because I don't want to rush something and spoil it, so I think I'll just do a little quick wire wrap with this one. Let me just give it a buff because I can see a couple of fingerprints on it. Yeah, I think I'll just do a quick wire wrap with this one. Nothing too fancy. You can always fast forward through it, can't you, if you're not keen. And I've got some power wire. Again, you know, use your own favourites of wire. And I'm going to use a 20 gauge and a 26 gauge. And these are quite fine, if you like. There's a lot to be said for, you know, making sure the gauge of your metal suits what you're doing. You know, you don't want to use too fine. Oh, I'm trying to get this to unspool. You don't want to use too fine a wire on some projects, and you don't want to use too thick a wire on some projects. So I think for this this will be perfect. I'll just get a few tools together, guys, and we'll do a quick wire wrap on this. Okay guys, so I've got 3 12-inch lengths of my 20 gauge wire. I'll just leave that there, then you can see if you want to write it down or something. And I'm just gonna just get the wires to sit nice next to each other. I have straightened them a little bit, but sometimes you get the odd kink and they don't like to play. So I'm just smoothing them with my fingers. So about halfway down, I'm going to do my best to keep these wires flat, and I'm working off my reel because I don't really know how much I'm going to need. I'm probably going to do maybe 9 or 10 wraps around this. quick idea for you. Could be a little bit better finished, to be honest. I'm not overly impressed with how I've finished that. I could maybe pop a bead in and it would hide them bits of workings there. But you get the drift, the gist for having a go at doing something. You know, it didn't take that long, did it? I've spent more time faffing than I did anything else. But yeah, there you go, guys. Just a quick little thing you could do. And I shall see you all in the next video. Oh no, I can't go. I haven't shown you these. Oh, they're the ones that I stuck in to be with a bit of resin on. And of course there's my other pieces which I will do something with, and I will post some photos of what it was that I did with them, especially this one. I might see if I can do this on this, but obviously with a bit more time and patience I'll be able to tweak it better. Okay guys, leave you to it. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you all in the next video. Ta-ra!